Good morning. We're going to give people a few minutes here to jump on. Hope everybody is staying warm on this freezing cold day. All right. Well, let's talk about creativity versus consistency.
So let's start with a quick reality check. Most marketing doesn't fail because it's bad. It fails because it stops.
Yeah, people post for a week, get discouraged, disappear for a month, and then they come back and say, social media just doesn't work for my business.
And here's the truth in digital marketing. The algorithm isn't your biggest problem. Your inconsistency is.
So today we're going to break it down, why consistency beats creativity and how to build a simple system that actually drives results across social media, SEO, your paid ads, and just all of it.
Yeah, if you've ever felt constantly like you're reinventing your marketing all the way from the beginning, this is for you.
Okay, so let's start here. Aren't we told nonstop marketing has to be creative to stand out?
Yeah, for sure. But creativity matters. But the issue is that without consistency, it just becomes randomness. Consistency is what makes your message repeatable, recognizable, and measurable.
So consistency isn't about being boring. It's about being dependable.
Exactly right. So consistency is what turns good ideas into a real strategy, and it makes your marketing feel more connected instead of kind of scattered and all over the place. Here's the main idea. So marketing works through repetition. Most people don't convert the first time they see you out and about.
Right. People need to see the offer, they need to trust you and remember you.
Yes, and consistency supports all of that. It builds the brand recognition of like, oh yes, I've seen them, I know who they are, to the trust because you show up regularly. And then you build the momentum that you're not restarting your strategy every week. And that gives you the data so that you can actually learn what is working and what's not working.
So tell us, where does creativity fit in?
So the creativity and everything gets you the attention, but consistency is what's going to make that attention turn into action because your audience sees you enough times to actually remember you and then trust you because of all the recognition.
So let's talk about the real struggle then. A lot of teams get stuck in creative mode forever. Like, we can't post yet, it's not ready. We need a better idea. We need a new angle.
Yes, that's a huge trap because what you're really saying is that you don't want to publish it because it's not perfect quite yet and it doesn't feel impressive.
But marketing isn't a one post competition.
Correct. Digital marketing is a system. When you overfocus on creativity, you're going to get the inconsistent posting, which leads to inconsistent messaging and inconsistent results. And then you're just going to assume that the platform doesn't work. So let's go channel by channel quickly, just because consistency matters everywhere. And I'll give a realistic baseline for what it looks like.
Yeah, people need a practical target.
So for social media, you want to try for 3 to 5 posts per week per platform. That can seem like a lot, so maybe you want to try for 2 to 3. But the most important part is having a repeatable rhythm. So maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or Mondays and Wednesdays. So then your audience and your team can both predict when and where you're showing up. Then for SEO and blogging, try for 2 to 4 posts per month. Doing that consistently will be putting out 10 blogs within 1 month and then just going dark for a quarter. For your paid ads, you want to do consistent weekly testing cadence. Do one change at a time, whether it's your creative or headline, choose one so that you can measure your results very cleanly. And then for YouTube, try for a video a week is the most ideal. But even posting 2 to 4 times a month really works well because it's being consistent. And then finally, for LinkedIn, try for 2 to 4 posts per week, ideally also on a predictable pattern. So, for example, try for every Tuesday or maybe Thursday, and then do one flexible. It could be any day of the week. It just lets your audience know when they can expect to see something informational or important from your business.
So really the best practice isn't to do everything daily. It's to pick a schedule and actually stick to it.
Exactly. Consistency isn't about intensity, it's about being reliable.
All right. So I want to make this useful. If someone's watching and thinks, I get it, but what do I actually do? What's the simplest consistency system you could give them?
Of course, so a very simple, easy way to kind of frame this is to do same pillars, same cadence, and the same call to action.
So let's break it down.
Okay. So same pillars, you pick about 3 to 5 topics that you're known for, whether it's educational, kind of letting them know what it is your business does, what your products are. Then you can have another one that's about the proof and the results, kind of showing how this is good for your audience and how they can actually use it. And then you have a fun one, whether it's behind the scenes, promotions, or kind of tied to the educational aspect of answering questions that you get all the time. Then you go into the cadence. You want the same cadence, kind of choose a schedule, and it goes back to being inconsistent. Not what's the ideal and what would be perfect in whatever world. It's about what you can realistically accomplish. And then have the same call to action across your content. You shouldn't end with like, so here we go, or anyway, that's it. Try to end with something that's more clear, whether it's follow for more, DM us, or download this when you can.
That's a really good point. So consistency and include a call to action. So here's my next question, Ren. Does this mean creativity doesn't matter?
Not at all. Creativity does matter, but it doesn't matter more than consistency. Once you have the consistency in place, then you can get the feedback, you can see where the patterns are, and you can get the data that can really push your marketing strategy.
So then creativity becomes more targeting instead of random.
Precisely. Consistency gives you that baseline for your performance, gives you those repeatable formats and the audience signals that you can then apply to creativity in smart ways, which can result in better hooks, stronger visuals, improved narrative and storytelling, and just cleaner calls to action all around.
So your creativity then becomes an upgrade and not a gamble. So let's rapid fire a few objections that people might have.
Perfect.
Objection one, I don't want to repeat myself.
Let's reframe that as not quite repeating yourself, but you're reinforcing what you're doing. Like we said earlier, most people don't see the first version of what you're putting out. So you're going to need to show up again and kind of remind them.
And honestly, you should repeat yourself because attention is getting fragmented.
Exactly. A bonus move is to repurpose your content. One idea that you put out there could be a short video, which you can turn into a carousel, a LinkedIn post, or even an email or a blog section. Repurposing helps performance because you're delivering the same message in different formats, so more people actually absorb it.
Okay, so then objection two, I just don't have the time.
That's why consistency matters. You're building out that schedule so that it doesn't cost you more time. When you disappear and restart, you're wasting more effort trying to ramp everything back up and re-explaining your offer, and then you have to rebuild the momentum that you had previously.
So you're saying consistency is actually a time saver.
Correct. The goal is a minimum effective schedule. Something like 3 posts per week and a blog post that same week as well can outperform a big push strategy anytime just because you're presenting without constant reinvention.
And it reduces decision fatigue too, because you're not asking what do we post every single day. For objection three, but my competitors are more creative.
So creativity is going to win you in attention in the short term, but consistency is going to win you that trust, that recall, that they remember who you are, and then conversions long term, because people buy from the brand they recognize and remember. So let's bring it home. The biggest takeaway is this: most marketing doesn't fail because it's bad; it fails because it stops.
And consistency is what prevents that. It keeps you visible, it keeps your message clear, and it gives your audience the repetition they actually need to build that trust in you.
Exactly, because creativity might get someone's attention once, but consistency is what turns attention into results, builds the recognition, the trust, and it gives you a system you can improve over time.
So if you want just a simple starting point, pick 3 to 5 content pillars and start a schedule you can realistically keep. Repeat it for the next 30 days. See what happens.
Yes, so thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. So there is a question about if you're doing a podcast, how often should you do it? If you're busy and you're doing this in addition to like a full-time job, I would suggest trying to do for once a month at minimum. Ideally, you're posting at least once a week, but once a month at least gets you started with that cadence. And then you can kind of ramp up interest as you're going by saying, hey, we're going to start doing it twice a month, or and then it turns into once a week. And there you go, your podcast starting to take off.
I don't see any other questions. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay warm, and we'll talk soon.